Pastor Greg, I have not felt this way in my spirit since 9/11.
Wow.
This is Pastor Ken Peters talking to Greg Locke about how they felt about Trump's Mar-a-Lago mansion being searched for classified documents. If you're unfamiliar with these two guys, they're famously Christian extremists who have regularly endorsed the idea of a civil war and espoused QAnon ideas from the pulpit. Now, you might feel like comparing the FBI search on Trump's mansion to 9/11 is a little hyperbolic, and it definitely is, but not to them. After watching hours and hours and hours of their sermons, not to mention the fact that I'm reading his book right now on my YouTube channel, Telltale Reads, I feel I can confidently say that these two guys deeply, to the bottom of their hearts, genuinely feel that way. They said it. I think we should take them at their word. But surprisingly, that isn't even the craziest thing they've said recently. They've been on a real tirade over the past couple months. So I want to take a look at what Greg Locke has had to say about recent events and how he views them. Let's get into it. Let's start by watching the entire clip I just played. If you're watching this 5 years in the future and don't have the context behind what they're talking about, let me lay it out in 30 seconds or less. Donald Trump took top secret documents out of the White House when he left. Not just top secret, but an even higher security clearance than that called sensitive compartmented information. This is stuff that contains information that's so sensitive that you have to enter a specially secured bunker to read it. And the documents are never supposed to leave that bunker. Ever. It pertains to nuclear weapons plans, among other extremely sensitive stuff. Apparently, Trump was keeping it at his pool house next to the towels. The government subpoenaed Trump to return the documents in March, and he did. Well, most of them. He kept a dozen or so boxes of the sensitive compartmented information level documents. The government knew they were missing. They sent the FBI to his house to recover the documents. It's so serious that Trump is being investigated under the Espionage Act right now. This story is still breaking at the moment, so I'm sure there's more information I'm leaving out because it hasn't been released yet, but that's the short explanation. With that under our belt, let's listen to Greg Locke and Ken Peters melt down over the fact that the government recovered documents from Trump that described sensitive weapons plans.
What just transpired in Florida with President Trump is a prophetic warning indicative of some major things to come against people like us that stand on his side of the aisle and that go against the narrative. Help people understand how huge of a situation this was.
Pastor Greg, I have not felt this way in my spirit since 9/11.
Wow.
Everything's a prophecy with these people, isn't it? Trump is the biggest victim alive. Billionaire from birth, had everything handed to him, ran for president and won on his first try, and he's always the victim. Stole the most sensitive weapons plans in existence from the US government, and instead of arresting him on the spot, they just recovered him. And he's the victim. These people live in a fantasy land. Keep watching.
It's not equal either. I mean, where's the FBI when it comes to Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails or Hunter Biden's laptop computer, or you can go on, and the left gets away with anything.
I can see I'm gonna have to address this video in small segments. First of all, Hillary Clinton didn't steal documents that were considered sensitive compartmented information, like nuclear weapons plans. What would Trump even do with that stuff, other than sell it to Saudi Arabia or Russia? I'm going to avoid speculation because I have no idea. I just don't understand why he'd do it. Anyways, they just didn't like how careful Hillary was with government correspondence. Things this sensitive would never be found in emails because, again, documents this sensitive can't be read outside of a secure location. Can't even be discussed outside of a bunker. It is literally as high as you go regarding sensitivity. And third, it sounds like they're justifying what Hillary Clinton did to defend Trump, right? Are they saying they're totally 100% good with Hillary now? They'd be willing to vote for her in 2024 because what she did wasn't actually wrong? That's what they're trying to do right now. They're pretending there shouldn't be outrage over Trump because there wasn't outrage over Hillary. Only there was outrage over Hillary's emails. There were even people calling for her to be locked up for treason because of her supposed and perceived lackadaisical approach to national security. If Hillary should be locked up for being less careful than they think she should with her emails, then from their perspective, Trump should receive a sentence 15 times worse. We'll get into the Hunter Biden's laptop stuff in a minute because it comes up again. But did you hear what he said at the end there? The left gets away with anything? It's almost like he's saying that Trump should get away with stealing and potentially selling the US's most secretive documents just because. I don't care if it's Jimmy Carter or Obama or Hillary or anybody. If somebody on the left is doing something wrong, they should face consequences for that. That's how a democracy is supposed to work. That's the difference between the left and the right in the US right now. I'm not on the right. I believe people should be held accountable no matter who it was or what they did. The right, like Ken Peters and Greg Locke, are saying he shouldn't get in trouble for this because everybody does bad stuff. Do they hear themselves talking? Let's keep listening.
You can go on, and the left gets away with anything. And they almost think that they could steal an election.
Yeah.
They get away with so much.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't they steal an election
Yeah.
when they get away with everything? And then a man named Donald Trump, who they've tried to catch on anything and everything. They make up stuff about Russia.
Yeah.
They spy on them. They've tried anything and everything. They can't find a thing, but now they're going to ransack his house.
Yeah.
I think it's a move of desperation on their part because they know what's coming.
Yeah.
They know what's coming.
And they want to stop what's coming.
They want to stop. And it's like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
They live in a fantasy land. The election was not stolen. The stuff about Russia was not made up, which is why Paul Manafort and a number of other people were actually charged with crimes at the time. They did not spy on Donald Trump. They are completely disconnected from reality. They live in Propagandaville, and they have for years now. Every event that takes place is viewed from a lens of Donald Trump good, Illuminati bad. The Illuminati is out to get everybody, and that poor, persecuted billionaire is number one on their list. This is a full-blown cult. There is literally nothing this guy could do that would turn these people away from him. That's the problem. He controls them completely, body and mind. And that should be a scary thought. But that wasn't the only example of Greg Locke losing his mind over the Mar-a-Lago search. He released a quick video about it as soon as it happened. Before we continue, I wanted to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get something back for your support, you can check out my Teespring or my other YouTube channels. I have my Telltale Fireside Chat channel, where I talk about the intersection between religion and politics. I have my Unfiltered channel, where I do long-form breakdowns of sermons from people like Greg Locke, Kent Hovind's seminar series, and other stuff like that. Or you can check out my Telltale Reads channel, where I've been reading books from extremists like this guy right here. It gets absolutely batty, so give it a look if you're interested. All links are in the description as always. Okay, let's watch Greg Locke lose it over the Mar-a-Lago search. Watch this.
What we saw in Mar-a-Lago yesterday, I'm here to tell you, was an absolute criminal act. The FBI is going to go to Mar-a-Lago, going to take siege to President Donald Trump's personal home, which I've been there. It's a beautiful place. But they won't even investigate Hunter Biden's laptop. I've seen what's on that laptop. It is nightmarish. It is evil, wicked, godless. I mean, things that will absolutely keep you up at night. And you're going to tell me that they won't investigate that?
Greg Locke has not seen the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop. A lot of the stuff that was supposedly on the laptop was proven to be fake, fabrications, photoshopped evidence. To me, that's enough reason to distrust literally anything they release. When none of it has been verified to be real, and some of it has been proven to be false, that's reason enough not to trust the source. This is like when the InfoWars host went on the stand in a defamation suit recently because he showed a clip from an unreliable source that turned out to be fake, and the lawyers said, "Do you think this random website is a reliable source?" And he said, "Sometimes."
You didn't check the source? You didn't check the author?
Well, I mean, I saw it said Zero Hedge on it.
Okay, that's the website, right?
Yes.
That's not where it originated from, though, right?
Well, to me it was.
Wasn't the question. It's not where it originated from, right?
Well, it was published on Zero Hedge. That's where I saw it. But obviously, I understand the author was, I believe, something called 0 Point Now.
Right. You think it's his real name?
I doubt it.
Right. You definitely never run a story by 0 Point Now before, correct?
I don't believe so.
This was republished, as you said, by a website called Zero Hedge, right?
Yes.
Also, not a reliable source, correct?
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it isn't.
The very fact that it's only sometimes reliable means that it's not reliable. These people have no idea how to tell the difference between a reliable source and an unreliable source. They have no idea what the term reliable source even means. They believe anything they hear and they repeat it. If that argument doesn't grab you, check this out. This isn't the first time Greg Locke claimed to have seen things from people's laptops when he unequivocally, without question, absolutely did not. There's a QAnon belief that Hillary Clinton and ex-Congressman Anthony Weiner's wife, Huma Abedin, were doing satanic ritual sacrifices, and there was this video of it on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Obviously complete nonsense. There was no video of anything. Hillary Clinton is not a Satanist, and Satanists don't do ritual sacrifices. And even if they did, they wouldn't film it. But Greg Locke pretends to have seen the video.
Some of the most well-known, corrupted, evil politicians you know are full-blown devil worshippers. I've seen videos that'll make you sick. You know how none of these people that say stuff like this ever get sued? Because they don't want discovery. When I tell you that Hillary Clinton is a high priestess in the Satanic Church, I wish to God she'd sue me over it. I've seen the video footage. That woman worships the devil 1,000%.
There's only ever one high priestess at a time in the Church of Satan, and it's never been Hillary Clinton. So anyways, when he says he's seen videos from Hunter Biden's laptop, I'm a little skeptical, to say the least. Even if there was damning evidence from some serious crime on the laptop, whatever it was, I guarantee it doesn't hold a candle to stealing U.S. documents about nuclear weapons plans and bringing them to your mansion where you host foreign dignitaries and world leaders from nations the U.S. considers to be adversaries. Let's keep listening.
This is a prophetic warning. They are coming for our churches. They are coming for our businesses. They're coming for our children already in the public schools. They're coming for us. They're not going to investigate them. They're going to investigate us. And I say bring it on. Bring it on, Scooby-Doo. Bring it on, Big Shot, because I have nothing to hide, and I'm not going to stop. Enough with this insurrection, January 6th nonsense. I was there. It wasn't an insurrection. Nancy Pelosi needs to be in prison tonight before this live feed video ends. I'm telling you, it's the facts, ladies and gentlemen. They don't intimidate me. They don't scare me. Do you hear me, left? You don't scare me. You Marxist, demon-possessed mongrels.
This guy lives in a fantasy land. Seriously. This isn't even the craziest stuff he's said. He goes completely unfiltered in his books because he publishes them himself and knows there isn't much anybody can do to deplatform him from a book. Absolutely nutty. That wasn't his only rant about this, though. He went on and on and on about how evil the left is and how they're trying to take everything over, spouting off nonsensical claim after nonsensical claim, as is his style. Listen to this one.
And they think that they're going to silence us. This is a manipulation, intimidation factor. The left is full of witchcraft. That's what witchcraft does. Manipulate and intimidate so ultimately they can dominate. Well, let me tell you something. They're not going to dominate me. They're not going to dominate our church. They're not going to dominate my family. They're not going to dominate our ministry. We are going to rock on. We're going to jam.
Now this one is particularly interesting to me. He considers this to be witchcraft. The guy actually has a reputation for kicking supposed witches out of his church.
Now, I will say, apparently that worked because our partner has vacated the building. You ought not throw people out of the church. I didn't. I prayed them out. You side with them, I'll throw you out. I'm tired of people siding with witches.
He believes there are witches around every corner. As a matter of fact, it's such a sticking point with him that people have been trolling him over this deep-seated fear of witches. Before we listen to the next clip, let me give you this context. He doesn't have a church building. He holds his services in a big circus tent with wood chips on the ground. And somebody put tarot cards under the wood chips a couple months ago. All right, check this clip out.
People take little tarot cards, the spirit of Santeria and things like that, and they slip them under the chips. I think we'd be shocked at what's under these chips.
And that led him to believe that his entire church was possessed by Satan.
So before I start talking about the cult, here's what I'm going to say. If we got any spirits in this room tonight connected to the occult, right this moment you leave this room, and right this moment you come up and you get out. I want every spirit right now connected to a fortune teller, connected to a tarot card, or connected to a psychic reading to leave these people right now in the name of Jesus Christ. Every spirit and demon.
Honestly, an extremely interesting way to protest somebody. But in that exact sermon, he went on to explain that witchcraft includes things like telekinesis and telepathy, but it also includes manipulation and divination. He used a baby, of all things, as an example of witchcraft at work.
You're born with a motivation to witchcraft.
Every one of us are born baptized into witchcraft, sorcery, divination. You know what witchcraft is? It's mind control, situation control. It is literally, the biblical definition is, you are trying to control people, outcomes, situations, and destinies of others. How many of you have children that are under the age of 3? Would you put your hands up? Okay, a few of you. We know who to pray for here in a little bit. Here's what's interesting, Jesse, you know this. Little baby will wake up, he'll wet his little drawers, and he'll cry, and rightly so. So mama comes in or daddy comes in, whichever's on duty, and they change that little diaper, and they pick that baby up, and they cuddle that baby, and the baby, of course, loves that warmth, that attention, that affection. So the next night, the baby doesn't even wet itself, but it knows if it cries, it's going to get cuddled, right? You came forth of your mother's womb speaking lies. There's nothing wrong with you. You're changed and you're not hungry. You just manipulate to get your parents to respond, and it works, doesn't it? The manipulation is, the intimidation is, you ain't gonna sleep at all tonight if you don't do what I say. And babies are born with the ability to manipulate.
So let me lay out the dude's views on witchcraft for you. He obviously thinks, quote unquote, the left is full of witchcraft. If you're on the left, then it's because you're possessed by a demon, which manifests witchcraft all around you. But here's where it gets interesting. He believes he does all the same things that witches do, except his power comes from Jesus rather than from Satan, which is where he thinks witches get their power. Remember the verse in Exodus about Moses and Aaron throwing their staffs down in front of Pharaoh, and they turned into snakes? Then Pharaoh's wise men threw their staffs down and they turned to snakes too. But Moses and Aaron's snake staffs went around and omnommed up all the wise men's snake staffs. Greg Locke uses that verse as the basis for his belief that he's capable of all the same things that witches do, which includes everything from astral projection to telekinesis to manipulation to divination. Except it's endorsed by and gets its power from God, which makes it okay. When witches do it, they get their power from Satan, which makes it not okay. And guess who decides where these people are getting their power from? Greg Locke, of course. He's the perfect man of God. Sure, he believes he makes mistakes, but he thinks his interpretation of the Bible and all of the spiritual acts he does are endorsed by God. So if somebody contradicts any of its extremism, it's evidence that they're getting their power from Satan. They're witches, and they can safely be ignored. Burned at the cross ideally, but he knows we aren't there yet as a society, so he'll settle for ignoring them for the moment. He believes he's the ultimate arbiter of good and evil. It's a deeply disturbing headspace to find yourself in. There are absolutely no checks or balances on his authority or power, and that always ends badly. Anyways, that's why I call this denomination Witches for Jesus. A lot of evangelical Christians fall into that category, though they typically call themselves evangelicals or non-denominational. Anyways, that is by no means the only bizarre thing Greg Locke has been up to lately. He's always been a bit of an odd bird, but I think things are getting worse right now. Check out this clip from early August 2022. He absolutely loses it on Islam, not even realizing that all the criticisms he makes of Islam can just as easily apply to him, and do. Check this out.
But I watch this video, all these Muslims. Everybody okay? Christianity and Islam are incompatible one with another. So get this nonsense out of your mind that Christianity and Islam can cohabitate. You ever seen that stupid bumper sticker, coexist? Ain't nobody on that whole thing trying to coexist except naive, skinny jean wearing pastors and Christians. Ain't no Muslim trying to coexist with you. They hate you, they hate Jesus, and they hate America. And if that chaps your hide, you can leave anytime you want to. I'm telling you, Islam is a demonic religion. It's been birthed out of hell. And they hate the nation of Israel. They always have and they always will. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. I'm sick of it. So they can Allah Akbar themselves straight to hell. I'm telling you, Israel will always win.
No self-awareness to be found. He is literally standing here telling his church that Muslims don't want to coexist with Christians as a method of whipping his audience into a blood frenzy, which is making it that much harder to coexist with people of other religions. Does the level of self-awareness get any lower than this? Seriously. Now, as an atheist, I'm not a fan of Islam either. I like it as much as I like Christianity, which is to say that I don't at all. But I have deep respect for anybody out there, not just as fellow humans, but fellow Americans, and recognize that they have a right to believe and do what they want as long as it isn't affecting other people. The way I see it, religion is like a drug. All religion, not just Christianity, not just Islam. I would advise against using it at all. But if you're going to anyways, use responsibly and help me get the real addicts to screw their heads on straight. I believe the movement I'm a part of is entirely too small to affect any real change. This can't be done without working with others who want to bring an end to extremism. So if you're religious, I want you to stick around. I want you to work with more reasonable people to find a way to pull people out of extremism, because there is a deep extremism problem in the US right now, and it isn't going away until we address it. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get something back for your support, you can check out my Teespring or my other YouTube channels. I have my Fireside Chat channel where I talk about the intersection between religion and politics. I have my Unfiltered channel where I do long-form breakdowns of sermons from people like Greg Locke, Kent Hovind's seminar series, and other stuff like that. Or you can check out my Telltale Reads channel, where I've been reading books from extremists like this guy right here. It gets absolutely batty, so give it a look if you're interested. All links are in the description as always. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.